Hello, everyone. Big hug to all of y'all. There's no way, there's no way she can recover from this. There's no way Harris can win now. At least if we're judging on a free and fair election. We're going to get into all of that. Big hug to all of y'all. Big shout out to Harry Fowles, No, 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 and Mr. Ben Brown, who were the first ones on the live stream, along with just another Oglesby. Appreciate you being here. Okay, let me just get right into this. A lot of stuff I want to cover. There will be no third debate. It's finito, done, acabado, kaputs, nothing more to see. So there were supposed to be 3 debates, remember. The first one, obviously, was with Joe Biden on that famous June 23rd debate. And he obviously lost that debate. And then we've got this debate that we had a couple of days ago with Kamala Harris. And we know how that went. And then now we've got no more. And do you think it's President Trump who's like, I want another debate. I want another debate. Please debate me again, Kamala Harris. I didn't do too well. Who was the first one to want a rematch? Who was the first one to say, you know what? I want a rematch. For those of you who are boxing fans, put it in the chat. Who wants a rematch? Who wants a second chance? The loser, David Cowboy. That's right. The loser. The loser is the one that wants a rematch. They want a do-over. When you're sitting there and you knock it out of the park, what more is there to prove? Nothing. That's why she immediately wanted a rematch. They probably saw the internal polling. Obviously, the Harris campaign has their internal pollers. They've got their people out there. They put their finger to the wind. They read the tea leaves, and it came back bad news. So, of course, they wanted a do-over, a rematch, and it's finito. This is what President Trump put on Truth Social, where he announced this. When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his or her mouth, I want a rematch. Polls clearly show, and this is President Trump, I'm quoting here, that I won the debate against comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. She and Crooked Joe have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA, totally unchecked and unvetted, and with inflation bankrupting our middle class. Everyone knows this and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate and refused to do NBC and CBS. And then he puts all of the rest of this in caps. Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. There will be no third debate. So President Trump, using his bully pulpit, using his Truth Social as his platform, and said, nope, no more. This is done. And President Trump obviously knows he did really well. It's so funny. The bar was so low for Kamala Harris. I mean, literally, people are like, remember when Joe did it? It's like if Joe doesn't fall asleep and he can be somewhat coherent, and he can't even do that because President Trump had that great zinger. Remember that great zinger? Joe Biden goes, and then President Trump says, I don't understand what he just said, and I don't think he does either. Now, we didn't get a zinger like that during this last debate, but she did not win. All right, we don't want to beat a dead horse here. There will be no third debate. She lost, and that is that. Now, this is what the Harris's co-chair said. Now, one of the reasons why see, we're in a unique place here in history, right? We've got, well, before Joe left, and before he left, I'm sorry, before they gave him the boot, before they pushed him into the pool, an empty pool, by the way, before they forced him out, it was Joe Biden, the current president, and running against Donald John Trump, the president who was before him. So generally, you have someone, generally, this is how it works out. Not generally, but often, I should say. Someone is a two-term president, a one-term president, and they're running for a second term, and then someone's coming to challenge them from the other party. Generally, it's, well, until Trump in the modern era, it's someone who has political experience. So they're either a governor and they're running against the incumbent with their record as a governor, or they're running against the incumbent with their record as a senator or a congressman or woman. That's usually how it works out. But we had this unique situation where the current president, Biden, was running against the former president, Donald John Trump. And because they're back-to-back administrations, you make an easy comparison. Were things better 4 years ago, or are they better now in this crap hole of America that we have? I mean, that was pretty unique. Now, that wasn't going to work because obviously Joe Biden was and is a terrible president. When I say president, just think resident of the Oval Office. So they kick Joey to the curb and they bring in Kamala Harris. Now, she has the problem that most incumbent presidents running for a second term have, where they've got to promise you that things are going to be better, but it's kind of a fine line they have to walk because they're trying to tell you it's going to be better, but at the same time, they're the ones responsible for what's happening right now. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation, right? Like, I'm going to do things better and different, but I'm actually the guy or gal in America, guy who caused all these problems before. They were hoping that they could do away with that by putting Kamala in. And then, of course, they could also play the whole race card and the whole identity politics, right? But then, so that's the strategy, right? But then watch, let me, these people are so damn stupid. Their hatred for America and for you and me, like, I can watch it on television. I can see it in their eyes. I can smell it in their pheromones watching it. How they hate us. They absolutely hate us. It comes through in their voice. It's in their visage. It's in their energy, in their aura, in their vibrational state, however you want to interpret it. But their energy is negative and full of hate. And they think we are stupid. So now I say all that to say this. This is what Harris's co-chair stupidly said. I mean, this is dumbassery at a level that just must be desperation where these people do not think clearly. On Thursday's broadcast of CNN's Inside Politics, Harris Walls campaign co-chair Mitch Landrieu stated that while 2024 Democratic presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris is her own person, she helped Joe Biden do all the things that were done in the Biden time that she was there. And I think she's proud of that. That's a direct quote. What a freaking dumbass. What he should be doing if they really wanted to win this thing, or at least win it legitimately, is, I mean, they've already, come on, let's be honest here. They've already kicked Joe Biden out of the campaign. I mean, they have already forced him out. Why don't they just go all in? Why wouldn't the Harris people just go all in and say, look, okay, if I were running the campaign, or if I was an advisor to Kamala Harris, and I am not, obviously, but if I were, I would be, look, We've already kicked Joe Biden to the curb. He's not running. When he's with us, he does stupid things like wear MAGA hats. Why don't we just kick him to the curb and say, look, I was the vice president. I was not the president. I was not in agreement with a lot of things that Joe Biden did. And when I come in as president, things are going to be a little bit different. Yes, we are Democrats, but we are going to do things differently. That seems like a whole better way to run than try to run on Biden's terrible record. I mean, damn it, they already kicked the guy off of the ballot. He's not running. The guy's dead or about to die. Take your pick. Why don't they just go all in and just say Biden was made? They don't have to go all in and say that he sucks and all that kind of stuff. They never do that. But she could separate herself and say, you know what? I was vice president. I was not president. I did not have veto power. I didn't lobby for some of these laws. Yes, I passed the deciding vote on some legislation. But when I'm president, as much as we love Joe Biden, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We are not going to do A, B, C, and D. So therefore, vote for me. There will be a change. I will be a Democrat fighting for you, but we're going to do things differently. We're going to do things better. I wasn't in agreement with a lot of things that Joe Biden did on the economy, on the border, da, da, da. And she could just lie and then come in and do the same damn thing. We saw that already. We've seen that already, folks. Didn't we see that when Obama came in? Obama came in, a Democrat, and said, I'm going to do this and that and that and that. And George W. Bush is this and that. Came in, and what do we get? The same damn thing. We got continued wars. We got bailouts. We got growing of the federal government. We got the same damn thing. George W. Bush lied, saying, "Oh, I'm a conservative," when he grew the federal government, No Child Left Behind, needless wars, etc. And then Obama just came in and did even better. Let's drone strike American citizens in other countries. Total lost opportunity. And then this dumbass goes on CNN and says she helped Biden do all the things that were done by him, and she's proud of that. These people really are stupid. They must plan on winning some other way than winning citizens of the United States' hearts, minds, and vote. Because you just don't do stupid and stay stupid crap like that. Unless, of course, you've got some other plan. I mean, remember, during the debate, she was asked, a question, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? What would you say to the people about that? This is what David Muir said. And this is right out the gate, right? So let's get started. I want to begin tonight with the issue voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago? There's no way in hell that anyone can answer yes to that question. So she didn't. So if the economy is the number one issue, crime and needless wars, and illegal immigration is the second. Those are the two issues, right? Depending on the polls, depends on the week, flips-flops back and forth. By the way, if you were on Twitter, folks, do not be on Twitter right now if you are not of strong fortitude, because there are tons of videos of Haitians eating live cats, sucking their blood, popping their necks. It is really not for the squeamish right now on Twitter. But of course, they fact-checked President Trump on that. Oh, they're not eating household pets and wildlife. Crazy stuff, folks. Crazy stuff. Honestly, if you could go back 10 years, forget 10 years. If you could go back during the first year of President Trump's administration, 2017, go back to yourself. Go back to yourself, not to someone else. And I want to see your comments. This is going to be fun. Put this in the chat box. And if you're watching the replay, put it in the comment section because I do want to read it. if you could go back to yourself 8 years ago and say, James, that's my name. I'm talking to my past self. In 2024, one of the talking points in the presidential election debate number 2, and I'm not going to spoil it for you who was in that debate. You're not going to believe it. And if I went and told myself in 2017 that it was Trump that was going to be again, I'd be like, well, didn't he get a second term? So once again, going back to myself, or you going back to yourself in the first year, 2017, of President Trump's administration, and you were told your old self, guess what? During the presidential debate number 2, there's going to be someone on there that never even won a primary vote, by the way, never won a primary vote, but is running on the general election ticket as a president. And one of the questions on there has to do with the eating of household pets. The eating of how crazy is that? Going back to yourself in 2017 and telling yourself there's going to be a question, there's going to be a discussion in the second presidential debate of 2024 about the eating of household pets. What do you think you would have told? What do you think your old self would have told your present self if you go back and ask them? I want to see some comments here. I want to move along, but I want to see some comments here. I got to put my glasses on for this. Do you understand how crazy these times are that we live in? It's amazing. And not always in a good way. No way. Lois says, no way. You wouldn't even believe yourself, right, Lois? You wouldn't even believe yourself. Man. Someone says, WT fornicate. Yeah, you'd be like, seriously? You're like, are you pulling my leg? You would ask yourself, are you pulling my leg? Are you freaking pulling my leg? They're talking about eating household pets. I wouldn't believe myself. And I was covering all this wackery at that time. I wouldn't believe myself. I would have myself, my future self in 2017. So me, 2017, would have 2024 James in a freaking straitjacket. I'd be like, how the hell are you coming to me with this damn nonsense about discussions about eating household pets during a presidential debate? I'd be like, I've been drug-free my entire life. I'd be like, are you now a drug addict in the future? What happened to me? Crazy. You better lock your pets up. Crazy. Donovan says. It is crazy. Like, this is just no ding-dang way, Sandy Zai says. Like, you wouldn't believe yourself. You wouldn't believe yourself. So all of this is happening. There's no way Kamala Harris can win because interest on U.S. debt just topped $1 trillion for the first time ever. Inflation picked up again in August. It was twice what they expected it would be. And we're talking about the producer price index. So that's the producer price index is the final demand. That's what the people pay before they pass it on to you, the consumer. That went up. I mean, the economy is terrible. We're going to have some sort of crash or correction between now and November. Almost every single expert says it. Maybe the Fed will come out and lower the interest rates to help Kamala Harris. They probably will. But, I mean, why do you think Warren Buffett pulled a whole bunch of cash? I mean, sold a whole bunch of stock in Apple and Bank of America and is stacking cash? Because there's going to be some deals being had. All of that's happening. And who actually has a plan? President Trump announcing today that there will be no taxes on overtime. So let's back up here a second. Let's back up a second. No tax on overtime. Now, President Trump, and I believe he's probably talked to people on Capitol Hill so that when he comes in, he can actually get this passed, right? So this is what he's proposing. This is what he will work with the legislature, or the legislative branch, with Congress and the Senate to pass when he comes in. Okay, so if you're new around here, I have a degree in economics. You don't have to be an economist to think this through. You just have to have common sense. So let's put on our thinking caps, boys and girls. Tie that damn thing tight so that you're not mistaken for a stupid liberal. If you know that working past 40 hours a week is going to net you your entire paycheck, except for maybe, I don't know, no income tax, but maybe you still have your FICA, your PUCA, and your Social Security taxes or whatever. But that you're going to get a good chunk of that and not have these withholdings. Wouldn't you be motivated to work more hours? Whoa. Wouldn't employers be motivated to give you more hours? Don't employers want a motivated workforce? And just like we saw with President Trump when he lowered taxes during his first term, just like we saw during Reagan, well, I was a kid, I didn't really know, but I understand from my studies it happened to Reagan as well. And this happens in Texas, in Florida, in Tennessee, in Wyoming. Is it Vermont, the other no state income tax? What you do is you make tax revenue from other places. And what we know is that it actually increases the tax base because guess what happens? More money made, more money into the economy. Wow. Wow. Now, here is the crazy thing. I'm doing this live on my webcam. So when I do these lives, I did one live where I used OBS Studio. I have a few of these softwares that allowed me to do a live stream and then also show you my screen. Not doing that. I just like the energy. As you guys see, I'm standing up. I'm jumping around. I'm having fun with this, folks. We are in a good place. We are in a good place if we can stop their skullduggery that they're planning the month after next. But I have faith that we will be able to. Would you believe? Check this out. I have the tabs here. I went to CNN and they have former President Donald Trump on Thursday said he would push for legislation that would end taxes on overtime pay if he wins a second term. And then they quote a couple lines. I couldn't get the full transcript. Same thing with NBC News. It's like 4 paragraphs. No, there's 6 paragraphs. Of course, with their spin, Los Angeles Times, they have quite a bit of, but they're just saying that this is crazy talk from President Trump over in Tucson, Arizona. So I've actually got the video here, and I'm going to read you the transcript from the video. This is what he says. I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means. Think of that. That's what President Trump says. Think of that. Think of that. He says 3 times. Well, I'm thinking, okay, let me get this straight. Supposedly, the Democrats are the party of the working man. They're the party of the working man, of the everyday blue-collar Joe. My brothers and sisters who go and bust their ass in whatever job they're at. Men out there doing physical labor, whether it is unskilled labor or skilled labor. That's what the Democrat and the supposed to represent, right? The union, the hardworking American guys, the middle class and the working class. And supposedly the Republican Party is all about the rich and the elite and the business owners and big business and the military industrial complex. And they're all in the bag for NRA and for the gun manufacturers. Let's step back a moment. Let's step back a moment and think about what we're seeing here, my brothers and sisters. First of all, what has Joe Biden been trying to do to buy votes? Pay off people's student loans. College, university student loans. Does that sound like it's really geared for the middle class and the working class? Kind of is, because in this crappy economy, even with a college degree, Doesn't guarantee you have a good job, especially all these dumbass kids getting like gender studies. Gender studies. I have a degree in gender studies, but I still think that you could be whatever you want, regardless of your chromosome pairings. It's amazing how stupid educated people are in 2024. But I digress. The idea of the Democrat Party, supposedly the party of the everyday working man, is to bail out your college and university student loans. Doesn't sound like really like they're working for the middle and class and working class. Middle class, yes, many of them have degrees, but the working class, I thought the Democrats were the party of the working class. So let's just exit Democrats and let's enter Trump as a Republican, and he comes out with no tax on tips, which Kamala Harris copies, because they should have thought of that first. And now he's saying we're going to pass no tax on overtime. The first thing I thought of when I saw President Trump say that is, after taxes on tips, why didn't Kamala Harris's people think about that and beat President Trump to the finish line on that one? Like, why with all of these damn consultants and all the millions and dollars that they have at their disposal, why didn't one of their people say, and I'm sure maybe one did, why was he able to convince them, say, hey, damn it, Trump beat us on tax on tips. Why don't we do no tax on overtime? Why don't we do no tax on overtime? That would have been a great one. She could have announced that 2 days ago during the debate. She could be doing that today in her, I can't remember where she's having a rally today, at North Carolina, and she's bussing people in again. Amazing. No way Kamala Harris recovers from this. No way. Tax on tips. Everybody knows that Trump said it first, and she's being a copycat. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat, except in politics, it doesn't really work when you're copying the person you're running against on the other party's ticket. Why didn't she beat Trump to this? Oh, I know why. Because she's got dumb people surrounded by dumbassery. I mean, it's a twerk fest over on the Democrat Party with all the dumbasses twerking their dumbasses and saying stupid things like she's proud of what her and Joe Biden have accomplished, when the rest of America is going, we are worse off today than we were under Trump. I am sure you guys know. Give me a thumbs up in the chat, or give me a thumbs up in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Give me a thumbs up if you know people that had TDS, that hated Trump, and are now going to vote for him, even if it's one of these kind of votes. I'm going like this because in California, it's a screen. I'm currently in California. Fires everywhere. My eyes red from yesterday and the smoke and everything like that. It's been crazy. I've been putting eye drops in. This is like the apocalypse. It was the last couple of days here in Southern California. My parents are doing great. Mom's doing great. Thanks for asking, for all those asking. And heads are rolling today. For those of you that heard my story on her nonprofit that she's working on. Woo! I took her to lunch today, and boy, my mom, fiery cracker. It's not going to be fun for these dishonest people on that call. I digress. Look at all those thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can see on the screen. I should scroll down more. 11 of you, 12 of you, a dozen of you right off the bat. No people that had TDS, and they are now going to vote for Trump. And now they're incentivized. You know, it's a big incentive. This is a big incentive, what you can keep and put in your wallet. If you can have more of these stay with you. I mean, this is Kamala Harris and Biden. This is President Trump. Just throw that visual right now. I don't do object lessons. Why would you vote for the other side? even if you can't, oh, he's mean tweets. Well, those mean tweets kept cash in your pocket. And even people that are stupid as hell are realizing that and are going to vote for Trump. And then he adds, like my beautiful Mexican wife of 27 years says, más crema en los tacos, more sour cream on that burrito, baby. He just put, you like the burrito? He just added more guac to that bad boy. And there's no way in hell that Kamala Harris can recover from that.